Pratiksha, who had gone to the hospital for an illness, received a false report and her life was thrown into turmoil. Pratiksha, who was waiting for love and intimacy at her mother in law's house one day. Stop in front of this house. The driver stopped the cab on Pratiksha's instructions. As she got out of the cab, Pratiksha shouldered her bag and walked heavily, opening the gate and stood in front of the door, thinking, after spending a few days with Dad, I will forget all the pain and return with new enthusiasm. She rang the doorbell with a fake smile on her face. Hey Pratiksha, come, come. Manjunath's face lit up when he accidentally saw his daughter come. Dad, how did you like this surprise of mine? She asked, her fake smile turning into a loud laugh. She walked into the room and sat down with her back to the sofa, feeling relaxed. You must be very tired. I will make ginger tea and come back now, Manjunath said and went to the kitchen. Dad, why are you going to the kitchen? Bhavani auntie didn't come to work today. Pratiksha, I have to go to Mumbai for some urgent work. So Bhavani finished work early today. I will cancel the flight ticket now. No, Dad, you will go and come back soon. I will be here for a few days. Pratiksha tried her best to be happy. I will come back in 2 days. Suraj won't get bored if you stay here for a few days. Even though you were in Bangalore, you used to come in the morning and go in the evening. How could Suraj allow you to stay for one more day? Manjunath's mind was filled with discontent about his son-in-law. Suraj has just gone to Sydney for office work, so I have planned to be with you for a few days, Appa, said Pratiksha. Good, Manjunath's face lit up with joy. Pratiksha also smiled and then took her bag from the drawing room to the room and started to put away her clothes. Pratiksha's mind felt much lighter after talking to her father. But as her father left, her mind became filled with sadness again. The wheel of thought started spinning in her brain. Looking towards nothingness, she started talking to herself. There is so much love here. Even the walls are oozing with love. Father is the only member of the house who is the embodiment of friendship. After mother left this world, father is playing the role of mother and is freeing himself from worries by becoming the shadow of affection. Even though he is the only saint in the house, only father is showering me with love like no one else. But there, how can I say that my mother in law's house is my home? I thought that my mother in law would be there in the form of mother. I had expected my father's friendship from my father in law. But just because I like it, I don't get everything. Who else can I blame when my partner doesn't show affection towards me? Even after 3 years of marriage, I am yearning for love and intimacy. I thought that a new life would come and a new joy would come to me. So many people are considering me as a criminal for not becoming a mother. Pratiksha remembered everything again and became depressed. She had to resign from her job as soon as she got married. She would spend the whole day doing household chores and waiting for 2 words of love. Her husband Suraj would get lost in his own world. If she went near Suraj for a few beautiful moments at night, his attitude would be as if he was doing her a favor. Pratiksha waited for her little baby for 3 years, but her lap was not full. One day, after caressing Suraj, she went to the clinic. The doctor examined both of them. That night, Suraj was looking at the reports online. She was lying on the bed, waiting for Suraj to say something. Suraj shut down the laptop, put his face down, and said, I saw the reports I had told you earlier. But you insisted that you get tested yourself. But now it is clear that there is something wrong with your system. That is why you can never become a mother. Pratiksha's sobs reached their limits. She controlled herself and said bravely, You should bring the printout of the report tomorrow. Many women suffer from such problems. Let's go to the doctor tomorrow, she said. There is no need to make this a joke again. If anyone asks, tell them that we are not planning to expand our family right now. We should not mention anything about it anymore, he said, giving Hitler's orders and changing his clothes and sleeping. Pratiksha was left in tears as if she had been rejected. The next day, Suraj told his mother about the report. After that, she started scolding Pratiksha step by step. The mother in law often told her son about the incident when the daughter in law did not become a mother in one of her relatives' houses. She divorced her and married another. Pratiksha found herself alone in a dark street full of neglect and abuse. Why do you always sit with your face puffed up? Don't turn around with your puffed up face even in front of me, he would say. The sting of the humiliation of the past days still hurt her. Her husband's grandmother had come to visit her from Kolar. Then Pratiksha touched her feet and bowed to her to pay her respects. As usual, he wished Pratiksha to become a mother of a child soon. The mother in law, who was standing there, said in a harsh voice, "No, sister, where is that happiness for us? Our family does not have the opportunity to play with children," she said. Hearing this, the elder aunt frowned and said, "What are you talking about?" Looking at Pratiksha's face, it doesn't seem to be worried at all. Why all this adornment for someone who has not given a child to the family? What can I do now? Did creation write that this barren woman should come into my son's life? The words filled with poisoned words were unbearable. Pratiksha left without saying anything. When she told her husband, distraught with humiliation and grief that night, he was furious with her. "Are you covering anyone's mouth, Mom? I didn't say anything wrong. Did I? Tomorrow I have to go to Sydney at 8 o'clock. I thought I would make you happy before I go, but you completely ruined my mood. Turn off the lamp and go to sleep," he said. "I will also go to my father's house tomorrow. He called me to say that he is not well." Pratiksha had lied for the first time. She had come home on the pretext of calling her father. When she had any trouble in her childhood, her father would pat her on the back and put her to sleep, and all her stress would disappear in the same way. Today too she had come home with the same desire. When she reached the airport and sent a message from her father, Pratiksha's train of thought was interrupted. After reading the message, she went to the kitchen and made herself some coffee. Then she turned on the TV and sat down. A wedding scene was being broadcast in some movie. The bride's saree was tied to the edge of the cloth on the groom's shoulder. Similar rituals were performed for Pratiksha before she took 7 steps. But what had happened? The wedding dress around Suraj's neck had become so twisted that she had not even noticed that it had turned into contempt. Blessings had never given her a happy life. They were piercing her like thorns. Instead of brightening her life, the color of turmeric had filled her with the color of sadness. It felt as if her flower-like face had withered before it could bloom even more. Even mental peace seemed like a dream to her now. The bond of marriage had not brought the two of them together. Pratiksha's legs were shackled. The doorbell rang, bringing her out of her thoughts. When she opened the door, her tired mind blossomed when she saw Kiran standing in front of her. Kiran lived next door to her house. Their friendship was old. They had both studied in the same school. He had gone to Delhi for higher education. After completing his MBA, he had joined an MNC company in Bangalore. One of Kiran's legs was weak due to polio. He had a caliper on that leg. Kiran had a special place in his heart for Pratiksha, but this was not because of Pratiksha's beautiful beauty or because she was smart in studies. It was because of his respect for Pratiksha's mind and friendly attitude. It was not out of sympathy, but out of the fragrance of friendship. Since Pratiksha had come home less and less after her marriage, her visits with Kiran had almost stopped. But Pratiksha's friendship was always holding his hand and leading him. Seeing Kiran, a special look filled her face. The conversation between them was in no condition to stop. Old friends, school, college, cinema, and the weather all joined their conversation. Pratiksha did not want to hurt Kiran's heart by sharing her pain, but she thought that her friend Kiran would not know the anguish of her heart. But Kiran had already understood that her smile, which was visible on the surface, was covered with sadness. After a while of talking, Kiran asked, "Pratiksha, can we only talk about the old days? Why not share the events of your new life?" Pratiksha began to feel that her theft had been discovered. "My life is also going on like that of a normal married woman. Mother-in-law, father-in-law, husband, responsibilities are all. You also tell me about yourself, she said, her eyelashes looking at the floor. You are an active married woman. Now you are sitting here away from your husband. I could have told you something about him too, but I am surprised that you are hiding something about him. Loosen your mental veil a little, he said. Kiran's plea for friendship reached Pratiksha's heart and tears started flowing. She started to open up the pain in her mind one by one. Kirana's compassion started working like a balm on the wound. Hearing Pratiksha's pitiful story, Kiran asked Pratiksha, is your husband Suraj telling you the truth by showing you the reports of both of you? What do you mean? Suraj said it after seeing the report online. So you didn't see it with your own eyes. Suraj didn't even take a printout of it, I checked it. Pratiksha cut off Kiran's words midway. How can Suraj tell such a big lie? He is indeed angry. But he is also such a big cheater. She was troubled and lost in thought. Seeing that Kiran was worried, she started laughing to divert her mind. Then the atmosphere turned into laughter. Meanwhile, Pratiksha got a call from his father. He said that he had just reached Mumbai. He requested Kirana to stay at his house that night. The conversation between the friends lasted till 1 a.m. Then both of them were falling asleep. Before going to bed, Kirana smiled and said, Pratiksha, let me tell you something. We have met after so many days. When will we meet again? If you don't mind, can we have a cup of coffee each? But I will make the coffee myself. Pratiksha could not refuse her friend's request and started making arrangements for Kiran to sleep in her father's room. As soon as she came out, Kiran was standing there holding a coffee cup. Pratiksha took the cup and sipped the coffee, saying, Kiran, the coffee you made is very tasty. I am jealous of the girl who is going to marry you, and sat there on the bed and laughed heartily. Kiran started showing the photos of the girls on his mobile. Recently, some relations were looking for him, telling him which girl he should choose. He went towards the washroom. Pratiksha, who was exhausted, lay down on the bed there, not knowing when she had fallen asleep. Pratiksha woke up from her sleep as the alarm went off in the morning. She came out in a hurry. Kiran was standing on the balcony gazing at the rays of the blonde sun. Before Pratiksha could question him about the incident of the night, he himself started telling her, You had fallen asleep when I came from the washroom the night before. I didn't think it was right to wake you up, so I went and slept. After drinking tea, Kiran left. Kiran used to come to meet Pratiksha every day until his father returned from Mumbai. When his father returned, Pratiksha was as happy as a little child. Even though he had been to Mumbai for only a few days, he had brought Pratiksha's favorite clothes, snacks, etc. when he returned. They always wanted to see their daughter happy. They wanted her to be not sad at all. But Pratiksha was the only one who could not tell her father what she was feeling. She did not tell her father that her in-laws were blaming her for not being a mother. She kept her pain inside, wanted to savor the taste of her father's friendship forever. She did not know how the 10 days passed since she came to her father's house. On the day she returned to her in-laws' house, she felt like vomiting after eating breakfast and wondering what to do next. She was feeling so dizzy. Her father immediately took her to Dr. Pratibha's clinic. Dr. Pratibha examined her and prescribed some tests along with medicine. Pratiksha returned home after giving a sample for the test. When Kiran came to meet her in the afternoon, he had brought her a chiroti that she liked. With her favorite chiroti, especially with her father and Kiran, Pratiksha forgot about her illness. The house was filled with happiness with the three of them talking and laughing. As the evening wore on, Pratiksha felt completely better. Although Pratiksha wanted to stay until the next day, Pratiksha wanted to go to her husband's house because Suraj had returned from Sydney only in the morning. Dr. Pratibha's clinic did not have the facility to view reports online. Also, since Pratiksha's health had improved, it was not necessary for her to get the report, so she booked a cab to go home. It seemed right for Manjunath and Kiran to see the report only once. Since Pratiksha was late to go home, Kiran said that he would get the report from the clinic himself, take a photo of it and send it to Pratiksha on WhatsApp. After the cab arrived, Pratiksha said goodbye to her father and Kiran and started her journey towards her home. Pratiksha was about to reach home. Meanwhile, she received the report photo that Kiran had sent. As Pratiksha downloaded the photo and looked at it, she could not believe her eyes. The report said that she was pregnant. Pratiksha's mind started racing. She was eager to meet her husband and tell him the happy news. As she reached home, she went to her husband who was resting and told him to close his eyes. As he closed his eyes, Pratiksha took out the mobile phone and held it in front of him. Suraj started at the screen without opening his eyes. As soon as he saw pregnancy positive, his face went pale. The next moment he growled, "What's wrong with you? This is not a joke, Satya Suraj," Pratiksha said happily. But how could this happen? Suraj was caught in a vortex of doubt. "That's it, I don't even know how," she said, hugging him happily. Pushing Pratiksha away from him, Suraj said in an angry voice, "This cannot happen, it cannot happen. What's wrong with you now?" Pratiksha asked in a slightly angry voice. "What are you talking about? I thought you would jump and jump after hearing this good news, but—" "What good news? What news? You should hear it today." "I can't possibly become a father," Suraj blurted out the truth in a fit of rage and anger. Pratiksha held her head and sat up. She felt dizzy and like she might fall over. Suraj shouted in a loud voice, "Can I ask whose child this is? It must be that Kiran's. He sent you this report." Pratiksha could not bear it. She immediately burst out, "Now I understand why you didn't show me the test report. What a fraud!" Suraj, who was seething inside, was in no condition to say anything. He started pacing the room. Pratiksha too was confused and sat on the bed with her hands on her head. After a while, Pratiksha's mobile phone broke the silence in the room. The phone was ringing softly. She said hello in a soft voice and went to the balcony that overlooked the room. "How was Suraj's Sydney tour? How is your health now? By the way, I called you to tell you something important. The report I sent you is not yours. It's like someone else, Pratiksha. A little while ago, I had received a call from the clinic. I went to the clinic again and brought your report. Now I have sent you that report. You have no other problem. It's just a slight mistake," he said. I was confused about how all this happened, but that wrong report took off Suraj's mask, Pratiksha said briefly, explaining the entire incident. "Now tell Suraj the truth of the report. Everything will be fine," said Kiran and hung up the phone. Then he sent the correct report to Pratiksha. Kiran got worried when he heard Pratiksha's frustrated voice on the phone. His suspicions about Suraj turned out to be true. He managed to expose his lies by doing a little trick. So in the evening when he went to the clinic to get Pratiksha's report, he was shocked to see a positive pregnancy test on it. Later, when he saw the mobile number and home address of the report, it belonged to someone else, Pratiksha. Before he went to the counter and took the correct report, he took a photo of it so that the address and mobile number were not visible. Then Kiran kept Pratiksha's real report with him. Since the report was normal, she didn't feel the need to send it urgently. He sent the wrong report photo to Pratiksha and after a long time he sent the correct report. Until then, Pratiksha shows the wrong report to her husband and talks to him. What will Suraj's reaction to be on seeing the wrong report? Kiran's intention was to understand the truth from it. After seeing the correct report, Suraj, embarrassed, apologizes to Pratiksha for hiding his mistake. Kiran thought that their married life would be taking a happy turn. But it did not happen. When Pratiksha told Suraj that the pregnancy report was wrong, he shamelessly got even more angry at Pratiksha and shouted, "Did you join your friend and start making fun of me? What do you think of yourself? I was happy in Sydney. I think it would be better to leave everything and go there." Pratiksha's mind was filled with sadness. Her mind was shattered. The pain was clearly visible in her. She wanted to scream loudly. A voice came out without her knowing. "Instead of feeling ashamed for the mistake you made, are you blaming me and my friend? I have tolerated your behavior until now, thinking it was your nature. But you kept looking for an opportunity to ignore me from the very first day. What if one of the husband and wife is important? It could be you or me. You should have accepted it willingly. The relationship between husband and wife depends on love. There is a game of brains going on here. Why are you leaving me? I will leave this relationship that has tarnished the name of husband and wife from now on," she said angrily. Suraj got angry after hearing her words. She shouldered her bag and left for home. After knowing all this, what could Manjunath do? After a few days, the relationship between the two ended in divorce. Based on her qualifications, Pratiksha got a teaching post in a school. However, she felt a sense of lack in her mind. It was taking away her happiness. If Kiran had not expressed his feelings to her that day, she would have fallen into depression. Pratiksha, I never had the courage to express myself in front of you. When I am with you, I feel a kind of sweet feeling. I felt like saying something to you, but my lame leg took away my courage. After you got married, I consoled myself. I wanted you to be happy always. Seeing that you are still so generous, my mind gets depressed. I feel like I should bring a bundle of happiness from somewhere and pour it on you, Kiran said. Lame. What are you saying, Kiran? Suraj's thought was a lie. I lie without feelings in the true sense. Why didn't you say this a few years ago? Pratiksha's throat filled with tears. Time has not yet passed, Pratiksha. Can you be happy as my partner? Not only Pratiksha's eyes but also her heart was filled with tears. Today we have become a true alliance, Pratiksha said, leaning on Kiran's shoulder. Please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.